Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Brian Fling. I am the president of Fling Media, and I'm a mobile designer, have been for about 8 years now.
And I think people call you an iPhone evangelist.
They're starting to, yeah, absolutely. So basically, I've been in the mobile space for quite a while, and when the iPhone came along, it's been the first opportunity that I've had to see, or the first device I think that has come along that's where people are able to cost-effectively create mobile solutions. Prior to that, it was a very, very expensive and complicated endeavor to get into the mobile space. The iPhone has been able to take all the great things like web standards and be able to put that into the masses. And when we're talking about iPhone, we're really talking about WebKit, which is proving to be a very powerful mobile browser, desktop-grade browser for mobile devices. It's going to be an Android and all the different iPod touches, and who knows where else.
So yesterday in your workshop, or I think the day before it was, you said that the iPhone is like a milestone. It's really like a new era.
I believe that there's the days before the iPhone and the days after. The important part about the iPhone isn't necessarily the technology, it's also the fact that it's been able to shift consumers' perceptions of what the mobile technology can do for them. And so I like to say that it's captured their imagination. And so all of these people that have been in the mobile space for a long time have always been preaching the promises of mobile. Now the consumers are finally starting to get the message, and that has a large part to do with the iPhone. And no other single company, has been able to do that so far. So that's why I think it's an important milestone.
Okay. This morning we heard Mitchell Baker. She said there's only one web. There's not like many webs.
Yes.
And so the question is, how will that happen?
There's a lot of confusion over the one web principle that was initially announced by the W3C. They've kind of rephrased it or restated it numerous times, and from a lot of people in the web space see it as being you have one source of markup and you use things like style sheets to adapt to your presentation, but you should always use the same markup. And we found that that's just really not the case. And even the W3C says you should have a substantially similar experience, but you should adapt for multiple contexts, and that's an appropriate thing to do. And so I really don't like using the one web term just because it has so much confusion around it. Even the iPhone is technically a one web device because it's able to render desktop quality content as well as mobile content. But Apple and every other browser manufacturer, they really try to promote the idea of creating content specific for the mobile context. And that's what I also agree.
We are organizing this Facebook Developer Garage May 14, and I heard that there are also already like iPhone dev garages or
yeah, the
dev
iPhone
camps.
dev camp.
Yeah. In Europe, the iPhone is not the big success so far, at least. They just lowered the price in Germany to 99 euros.
Yeah.
Still, the price plan is not inexpensive, to say it that way.
Right.
Do you think it'll take longer, or do you think it'll have a big impact all over the world, like also in Europe?
I think so. I mean, first of all, I think that in Europe, I think there's cultural differences between a lot of Europeans that don't necessarily. I mean, I don't want to say that Europeans don't use the web as much as other countries, but the U.S. is very, very web dominant. It's so infused into our culture, and so the iPhone makes a nice complement to that. And so I think that's one reason why it's played better here. Smartphones have just never really taken off here in the States. So in Europe, over in Europe, you guys have had much better devices than us for a very long time, and so and those devices like your Nokia's are much cheaper and a little bit more targeted at what Europeans want. I don't think this is going to be the last time we see, or the only product that we see from Apple in the mobile space. I think that we're still going to see WebKit in Android, which will be all over Europe, and so probably in 2009. So we're seeing the same technology that's in the iPhone will also be in lower cost devices. And I also think that we will see the price will I think the different people, it's a pretty easy math when you equate the cost of an iPod with the cost of a phone, and if you add those two numbers together, the iPhone's pretty reasonable cost.
Okay.
And the fact that it is a good iPod, a lot of the other phone manufacturers have had a difficult time creating a really nice media player that rivals the iPod, and so I think that there's something like 22 million iPods have been sold. So I think that it will eventually become a success. But I think that from my experiences with the European market, they've been a little bit. They've been very, very skeptical about the iPhone technology, and I think a lot of people are waiting for 3G and a couple other factors that we'll start to see in future releases. But who knows? I mean, I don't work for Apple.
I think in Europe, many developers, they still kind of prefer Java because you have the broadest handset base. And
for native applications.
Yes.
Right.
So among them is our company, Celerity. So far we've done Java because just getting to the market and to the mass market.
Yeah.
So do you think, should we start developing for the iPhone now, or shall we wait?
I think that you should start developing for what a lot of people consider to be mobile 2.0, the mobile web in a realistic, standard supported version of that, which the iPhone and Opera support. And WebKit and Android. All the future browsers that are going to come out are going to increase the bar of what they can support as far as desktop standards. So absolutely everybody should be starting to develop for the mobile web of today here in the United States with the iPhone, of tomorrow, which will be CSS3, XHTML, SVG, the standards that we've all pretty much adopted for the desktop. Okay. They will come to the mobile desktop, and it's going to happen very, very fast.
Okay, so it's more about mobile 2.0, where the iPhone is part.
Device. It's about the web and the standards and the tools that we can use. Just like Java is, you can go and you can buy lots of books about how to write Java, so you can go and have a job and do Java applications. And with the mobile web, it was very, very difficult, and very few people, not a whole lot of documentation on how to navigate the mobile space and support all the different devices, and with barely CSS2 support, very, very minimal, wireless CSS, and so with the iPhone and the interest that it's creating into the mobile web, we're seeing every single browser maker is looking at desktop grade. They've all said we have to up our game into the mobile space. Just like the keynote, Mozilla, 2 years ago there was like one guy that worked on the Mozilla project, and now they're saying it's a big thing, but 2 years ago it was not. Or at least it wasn't as well as it was communicated to me. And so I think we're really going to see the mobile web become the future.
Okay. We just
last question. Yeah.
Last question. We just learned that the Web 2.0 Expo will be in Berlin this fall again. Jennifer told us, and we're excited about it. So, could we maybe see a great workshop in Berlin?
If they invite me, I'd love to go.
Okay, that would be perfect. We would love to welcome you, Brian.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.